I knew the principles of recovery. I was feeling extremely confident. I was actually enjoying life. I was going out with my friends, having the best time. And Shiv, who's a mentor, he told me, don't leave right now because you need practice, you need the community. And I made a silly mistake and I left. And then after that, what I experienced, I would call that a setback, and it was like a setback from hell. I was just like, it. I don't know if I'm ever going to get better, if I'm ever going to recover from this. But eventually I bounced back, and I would say that I'm fully recovered now. Yeah, I think the last time I did the recovery video, I still had symptoms. At this point, I have no symptoms.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome back. And this time, this is going to be an interesting one and one update we were asked about quite a lot. We are having Devyani back. And since this is like a follow-up session, there's really not much of a script to, follow. It's not the usual questions. It's going to be more about Devyani's experience since her last video, which, by the way, you can also find right here on the channel. So I'm going to let her quickly reintroduce herself and say, the story, like just in short, how the anxiety started, all the things just very shortly, and then we will follow up where we stopped last time. Okay.
Hi, it's really good to be back. I'm going to quickly take you through my journey. My struggle with anxiety began in 2018, and I'd gone out with a couple of friends, and I just tried a little bit of ecstasy, just a pill, and I woke up the morning after, and I was feeling very uneasy, and I was feeling this thing like just a very weird feeling in my tummy, and then I just had this panic attack out of nowhere that morning. And it was also just a stressful time for me in general because college was just about to get over. And I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. So I was stressed out in general. I had been overthinking, I had been worrying a lot. And so that ecstasy was just a little trigger, and it was like a crack in the pot. So once I took that and I woke up, I was just feeling uneasy. And after the first panic attack, I just kept getting panic attack after panic attack, and it didn't stop. And so I had been feeling like that way for about a week. When I woke up with a panic attack, and then for a week it continued. And then 2 weeks went by. I asked my mom to come to me because I was living in another city. I was in university. She came, she took me to doctors, and they put me on antidepressants because they all said, it's probably because of the pill that you've had. And this is a common side effect. People tend to get panic attacks, but yeah, it doesn't last for such a long time. So that happened, and I was put on antidepressants, which kind of made me feel better. Like I wasn't getting panic attacks anymore, but I wasn't myself at all. So for the first few months that I was on the antidepressants, I was still getting panic attacks, and after a few months, they stopped because I think my body got adjusted to the medicines. Even after the panic attacks went away, I was pretty miserable. I wasn't really feeling like myself. I'd become super angry. And then in 2022, I went off the medicines because I was feeling normal. Like I was feeling slightly okay. So I said, maybe I don't need these medicines anymore. I'd had a very good month, actually. I was going out with my friends a lot. I was feeling great. So I was like, I don't think I need these meds. So I stopped cold turkey, which I shouldn't have done. But 3, 4 days after that, the anxiety just came back. And it just started the same way. I remember I was sitting down and I was playing my piano, and I just felt that same pittish feeling in my stomach again, and it was back. And yeah, and the thing is, I was always so terrified of it. The fear never left. I think at my worst, I was probably fainting, and I used to bruise my hands because I would just faint in the bathroom because of the panic and the surge of adrenaline. It got really bad, and then somehow, luckily, fortunately, I found chance program. After obviously I prayed a lot for it, and I think this program was an answer to those prayers. I know it sounds a little tacky or cliche or whatever, but it's true. And then I found chance program, and I was in the program, and yeah, the rest is history.
This was the beginning of the story. And then when you were with us, and this is what we discussed in the last video. Well, not us, Sean and you, right?
Yeah.
The interview was with Sean, I remember.
Yes.
So then what happened is I remember you were doing afraid and you left the program for quite a long time. Then after some time, we were happy to welcome you back in. Of course, not happy for you because you needed us again, but still, we were happy to see you again. So I would like you to talk about what happened, why it happened, what did you learn from it, how you do it, how are you doing now, all of those things.
2022, I stopped the medication and then I fell back in after 3, 4 days of stopping the medication. So for a year, I struggled without any medication, without anything at all. I was just trying to wing it. And 2023, June, exactly 1 year later, is when I found Sean's program. Now, I found it, and trust me, I always knew it was anxiety because my mother had it once. So I understood that this was just anxiety. I always knew it was anxiety. And when I found Sean and when I found the program, I was like, this is it. I got to join this. It was instant. I did not even wait for a week, I think. I was just like, this is it. So June, I was in the mentorship. June, July, August, and September, I was in the mentorship. And I saw lightning fast progress because June, June is when I started. Of course, initially my symptoms flared up because I started to accept it. And June, July, slightly better. August and September is when I actually started seeing the results. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually waking up without the anxiety. I'm not scared of it anymore like the way I was. My relationship to it has changed. I knew exactly what to do. I knew the principles of recovery. I was feeling extremely confident. I was actually enjoying life. I was going out with my friends, having the best time. And so September I left. And Shiv, who's a mentor, he told me, don't leave right now because as much as you think you know it, and you probably do know it really well, you need practice, you need the community. But me, being me, I was like, no, I got it. I get it so well. Like I'm so good. I'm just gonna do this by myself. And I made a silly mistake and I left. Then comes Jan, and I hit a setback. So what triggered the setback was actually I wouldn't even say it was another person, it was me who triggered the setback. I had started to see someone and I just started overthinking it. I was feeling really overwhelmed and I was really scared and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because with all of these symptoms, I don't know if I can accommodate another person, even though I really, really, really had deep love for this person. But I was just really overwhelmed and I was overthinking it a lot. I was just overthinking it so much that I made it bad for myself. And I would wake up again with like terrible symptoms. And finally, when the relationship ended, that's when it really flared up. And I stopped responding. I remember I was shooting, and in the middle of the shoot, I was getting like panic attacks and it was really bad. Like I cannot even describe it. And because it was a real life stressor. And like when you're sensitized, things seem so much more difficult than they actually are. Because we all go through heartbreak and breakups and it's a normal thing. But when you're sensitized, every little thing is just magnified. Like this is the end of the world. You're the worst person ever. That's how I was feeling. I was barely being able to shoot even because my hands were physically shaking and I wasn't being able to take on that stress at all. And somehow I just wrapped up that shoot. Um, and I came back home. I just came back home to my mom and yeah, and then after that, what I experienced, I would call that a setback, and it was like a setback from hell. It was really terrible. And I think I completely forgot everything that I'd learned because just the sorrow, the sadness was so deep and overwhelming that I was just like, fuck it. I don't know if I'm ever going to get better, if I'm ever going to recover from this. And I really started to believe that I'm like the worst person in the world or something like that. Anyway, then I came back and I realized that I really need the mentorship again. I need support again. And so April is when I rejoined the program. Um, and I'm so good. I don't know. I thank God every day for giving me the courage to come back because a lot of people feel shame when they come back, or a lot of shame to admit that they're not doing well, even though they were doing so well before, they were making so much progress. And, Marka, the thing with me is, despite all the anxiety, I've always been a very level headed person. I've always kept my emotions in check. I've always been able to carry myself a certain way. But those few months, I was just really acting up, and I was kind of ashamed of myself. And I felt like I was even worse than when I fell in. So I came back to the community, and coming back made me realize that learning the response is important, but community is just as important. And that being a part of this community for a prolonged period of time is crucial. Even if you feel better, don't just leave. Because you may feel like you know it all, but when a real life stressor hits, that's when your practice really comes into play. That's when your body understands how much you've learned. And for me, if I had this community support while I was going through my setback, I would have bounced back much faster. But eventually I bounced back, and I would say that I'm fully recovered now. Yeah, I think the last time I did the recovery video, I still had symptoms. At this point, I have no symptoms.
Thing. And you notice, this is why I always tell to people, like sometimes when we hear on calls, right? Like, why does it take so long? I still have symptoms. I have good days, but the high days come, high anxiety, symptoms come back. And people are like, I'm so tired of the response. I'm so tired of responding. I don't like responding. And I'm like, I always say, you should not be, first of all, it shouldn't be an effort to respond. It should be something that takes away the pressure. That's one thing. And second thing is, I don't really recommend being tired of it and being like seeing it as something that, oh, finally, when anxiety is behind me, when I'm out of this, I can't stop responding, because that's what I'm warning people from. I'm like, you get sensitized somehow, right?
Yeah.
You get sensitized somehow. And it was the daily life. It was the stressors. It was the life stressors. So I always say you shouldn't want to be able to stop responding. You should actually see this as a great, great practice, because you're going to have to take the tools and kind of carry them over. Because when you go out there without anxiety, even fully recovered, the life will still be there. The life that was there before and they got you sensitized in the
Yeah.
first place, that life is still there.
Maka, I do not think you can recover without going through a real setback caused by probably a real life issue. Actually, it's inconsequential what causes a setback. It could be something very real, it could be just in your head. You need to practice your response again and again and again and again, and you have to keep doing it. It feels tiring sometimes. At first, it feels tiring. Towards the end of your journey, it's going to become a natural response because you've rewired yourself in such a way that not responding is just not an option. You've just trained your body to respond to any and every situation. So it becomes easier. Because the first time we had this call, the first time I was speaking to Shan, I never really experienced a real setback. So I'm very fortunate for that to have happened to me because it's given me a lot of strength. And now I know that, you know what, even if something bad happens to me, I can figure it out and I will figure it out.
Oh, Devyani, I actually, now that you said that, it completely slipped my mind. But now that you said that, I remember you were saying in the video to Shan, like, I actually never experienced a real setback. And I also remember telling you when you came back, I reminded you, I was like saying, hey, you said you never experienced a setback. So here you go.
Marka, that was my cue to not leave because I would say don't leave the mentorship till you've experienced a real setback. Absolutely no, 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 no. You cannot. Actually, the thing is that you need to go through a real setback, and it's so important to have this community because the way people came out to help me, all the mentors and the people in the community who were in different stages of recovery, that kind of support, it's invaluable, and you do need it because this journey is very isolating. A lot of people do understand anxiety, but not the way we feel it.
First of all, coming back, you feel a lot of shame, you feel a lot of fear, even coming back. And also, you said one thing, it triggered so many people seeing you coming back, right?
Yeah. It
And
triggered me. It
it
triggered
triggered you,
me.
yeah. And I also remember, and I know I already spoke about this video on one of the interviews, and I'm going to remind again, when Sean posted his videos, and it was very similar to your situation, right? A lot of things were happening in his life, a lot. and he got into overthinking. He got a little bit into his head. And then he made a video. Yeah, some of symptoms came back. I felt the stress on my body. I felt the anxiety. I felt the effect of like just me spiraling,
Yeah.
within all those stressors. And I didn't get into that situation where I would be like highly, highly stressed, multiple stresses at the same time, to a point where I would feel like significant rise of anxiety and stress in my body to a point of like symptoms. Yeah, I had like days where I couldn't sleep, like nights where I couldn't sleep, or days where I was like low appetite, a little bit of nausea, knowing I was stressed, but it wasn't like a prolonged. So I never actually had
Yeah.
that perfect storm. But even if I would, I always see it as a good thing, because it's like my body has a way to tell me that I'm back in my head a little bit too much and I need to get myself back in check. And that's amazing.
It's
That's great.
incredible. Thank God. Thank God for that.
Again, I want to ask you, just to, I know you already mentioned it, but some people will be asking in the comments. I know how it works. So again, how are you doing now, right now?
As of now, I don't really have any symptoms. I feel some amount of discomfort. Uh, like if somebody tells me a bad thing, I'll probably feel a little bit of anxiety, but that's about it. Because I know I've gone to hell and I've come out of it. Um, I don't have symptoms anymore. I could actually even leave the community and be totally fine, but I don't want to, because I just think it's really an invaluable asset in my life. I love helping out whenever I'm on calls. Um, I would say I'm recovered at this point. I'm not really scared of anything. I don't have panic attacks, morning anxiety, none of that. But I don't think I have an anxiety disorder anymore, if that makes sense. Because it's not a disorder anymore. This is normal. To feel some amount of residual anxiety when you're recovering, that's normal. It doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to feel scared if I wake up with that panicky feeling again, like I was every day. Of course, I'll feel scared again. Or if I hit a setback, I might. You never know, because this is how the journey is. I might hit a setback. But at least now I know better. I know I've been through it and I know there's a way out again. With every experience, you're learning so much. In the moment, it feels like you've lost all the progress you've made, which you never do. You never lose the progress. Yes, you could probably lose the momentum, but the progress always stays with you.
This is such a smart thing you said. You said you can lose the momentum, but you never lose the progress. And that's the fact,
Yeah.
because the progress is made in your mind. It's the skill you're building. It's the skill to respond. It's the skill to catch yourself before you even spiral. It's the skill to let things be, let them go without resistance. So you can't really lose that, because you're learning that. It's like riding a bike, right? Or swimming or anything like that. Yeah, you can lose the momentum for a period of time, but you can't lose the progress. Anything a person learns, nobody can take away from them, right? Once you learn it, you know it. It's just sometimes you can
Yeah.
get a little bit rusty, but you still know it, and that doesn't go away. So this is amazing. And is
Yeah.
there anything you kind of, apart from not leaving early, obviously, and be not ready, not like expected behind every corner, but like have that knowledge that, hey, even if you feel like you're recovered or almost recovered and you had the setback, it still doesn't mean that you're doomed forever. I know you've learned those things, but is there something else that you would like to share with people that this whole process taught you, now that you kind of know a little bit more than you did the first time when you made the video?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, two things. When you're sensitized, your decision making ability is just down the drain. Don't make any important decisions and become very selfish. Just this is what I've learned, be slightly selfish. If you feel like you're not ready for something, just accept it. Maybe you're not ready for it right now. There's no shame in admitting that you're not feeling good right now. You're not 100%. And yes, even though you have to live life and that's how you recover, compassion is a very important tool that you need throughout this journey, because a lot of times we lose that compassion for ourselves and we feel like, we're recovering and the way to recover is to live life. So I'm going to do everything and anything possible to recover as quickly as possible. That's not the right way. You can't expose yourself to situations that will make you uncomfortable just because you want to recover fast. That's the wrong way to do it. Expose yourself because you know that you want to be able to respond to your best ability. You're not doing this to recover faster, because if you do that, your intention is absolutely wrong. So don't do that stuff. Challenge yourself. That is important, but not with the intention of recovering faster. Because that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to show myself that I can do this because it's going to help me recover faster. It actually just set me back by many, many, many months. So that's one thing I've learned. And the second thing I've learned is you really have no other option. Honestly, you can pity yourself, you can feel bad for yourself, you can cry to your friends, to your family. I've done it all. It's not going to help you. The only thing that you can do and the only thing that you must do is respond. It feels terrible at first. You feel like this is the worst thing in the world, but you have no option. And the sooner you realize that, and the faster you chuck the, oh my God, I feel so sorry for myself, and I cannot believe this shit happened to me, the better it is for you. Yes, it's a terrible thing to happen to anyone, but you're not alone. A lot of people go through this and they all recover.
We've seen people coming into the program and having that like victim mindset a little bit and feeling sorry for themselves and complaining and complaining and complaining. And they complain for months, yet they haven't made any progress until they stopped complaining and they realized that nothing, nothing and no one is coming to save you. You have to do it. We can tell you how, we can tell you what to do, and you can read it and you can watch the videos and you can listen to the audios, but you have to do it.
Yeah, there's no easy choice. And honestly, you probably think taking a pill is the easier choice, but it's not, because this journey is going to change it's going to change your entire personality. It's going to make you a better fucking person. You will be unrecognizable. I'm really grateful that I fell into the cycle and I learned all of these lessons. And yeah, I'm just really happy.
I had one-on-one just yesterday. I had one-on-one call, and the question kind of was like two-parter. First was because they heard me said on the call, on a group call, and I said it, and I stand behind it still. And this may piss off some people. I said, I don't consider thoughts a symptom of anxiety. I don't consider thoughts a symptom of being
Yeah,
sensitized. I consider
it's not.
thoughts as a symptom of having a brain. You have a brain, you will have thoughts. It comes in a package, right? So what I consider a symptom of anxiety is if a thought comes and your body terribly overreacts, well, yeah, that's an indication you are sensitized. If a thought comes and you immediately latch on it and start thinking and overthinking and worrying and trying to get rid of it, well, there's a pretty good sign of like some patterns there that shouldn't really be there. But having a thought is just a symptom of having a brain. That's all there is. And then
Absolutely.
the person asked me, what was the last thing that kind of you stopped being afraid of your mind though? Because your mind, you know, if you have a brain, you have a mind, you will have thoughts forever, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she asked, so what was the last step for you where you stopped being afraid of your mind, of like all the thoughts it can produce? And I'm like, the moment that I realized by practice, by repetition, by doing it over and over again, and sometimes people are like, how do you get to these realizations? What exactly did you realize so I can put it in my head? That's the thing with realizations, with the clicks. They come in their own time. Because I remember I was sitting and I was doing something, maybe watching something. I wasn't even thinking about anxiety. And suddenly it was like a light bulb, completely unrelated to what I was doing. It was like a light bulb. And suddenly I realized, frick, I'm I don't have to be scared of my thoughts, because whether I engage or not, whether I overthink or not, and what I think about and what I don't think about, it's always in my control. It always was. I was just wasn't aware of it. I don't have to be scared anymore. There is no freaking reason. I was in control this whole time. I just wasn't taking the control. And since then, I'm not afraid of my
Exactly.
mind.
You are in control. You are absolutely 100% in control of your thinking. This part, man, I realized this so late. It's just a thought. Everything is just a byproduct of it. It's narrowing down to one or two things that really resonate with you and sticking to that. For me, it was
Yeah.
two things. One was use responding as a skill and not as a fix. And number two was it is just a thought disorder. Once I understood that deeply, I was like, oh shit, it's just a thought disorder. I'd like to add one more little thing because I've seen a lot of people struggle with this aspect when they are sensitized. A lot of my friends and a lot of people generally, our generation, um, relationships, right? People are always struggling with their boyfriends or girlfriends. And when you're sensitized, that relationship can become a trigger for a lot of people because now you're not just responding to your own thoughts, but you kind of have to respond to how the other person is behaving towards you. That can be a little bit tricky. um, but again, it's the same thing. It's understanding that everything that you're feeling, everything that you're experiencing, it's got nothing to do with the other person. It's got nothing to do with them. Of course, if they're straight up mean people and they're gaslighting you and they're manipulative, that's a different thing. But mostly people aren't bad. I'd like to believe that most people are kind and nice. Of course, you meet a few rotten apples along the way, but on an average, people are just decent. Like they won't try to harm you on purpose. And when we're in relationships, we tend to put other people on a pedestal and we hold them accountable for the way we feel, and so we feel like if we're not doing well, it's probably got something to do with them. But if you're sensitized and you feel this way and the other person's just fine, there are no red flags as such, and you still don't feel good and you're like, "Oh, it's probably the other person." Guess what? It's not. It's you. You're doing it to yourself. You're ruining something beautiful by overthinking. And I've done it. Well, I just don't want other people to do it because relationships are beautiful and they should be cherished. And we tend to sabotage even good things while we're sensitized. So I just hope if anyone's watching this video while they're sensitized, going through relationship issues, feeling like, oh my God, I just don't feel happy in this relationship. Maybe it's the other person, it's not. 95% of the times while you're sensitized, it's because you are doing it to yourself.
That's true. Like we can really destroy ourselves with our own
Oh, yeah.
thinking, not
Yeah.
thoughts. Thinking. Thoughts
Thinking.
are nothing. Thoughts are nothing. Thoughts are ideas. They will only have as much power and as much substance as we decide to give them,
Yeah.
right? We need to realize that our subconscious mind, where the thoughts are coming from, like the random ideas and worries and doubts that suddenly like pop up, they're coming from a subconscious mind, and a subconscious mind is like a computer. It saves everything, everything it sees, everything it experiences, everything we hear and read. And someone told us, and someone told us that they told them that they experienced it. And our subconscious mind takes it all and saves it and keeps it there just to have as much information possible to risk assess and look for problems and look for, possible reasons to avoid things. And it's all saved there. And then it's just sometimes just pops up, out of nowhere. But
Yeah.
if we just realize it's just our subconscious mind like throwing around ideas because we don't have anything better to do than just focus inwards and listen to it, then you don't have to give it power. You don't have to give it substance. It's just an idea. And until you take it and start doing things with it, it's going to stay there. It's going to be just a concept, idea, notion. It's nothing.
It's
It really
nothing.
is nothing.
It's really nothing. And I would go as far as saying that, how sometimes boomers talk and they say, anxiety is nothing. I've kind of started to believe it. I'm just like, 1 second, it's actually, if it's not something that I can't control and it's not being caused by an external factor, it truly is nothing. If I'm creating it by the
Yeah.
power of my negative thinking, then it truly is nothing. It's nothing. You're doing it to yourself and you can get yourself out. Start taking accountability, get out of the victim mindset, just practice the response enough number of times again and again. Respond whether you have a setback or no, on a good day, on a bad day, on a happy day, on a sad day, when you're with friends, when you're at home, when you're watching television. Just you need to be on your best behavior when you're sensitized. You need to be on your best behavior. You can't be like, okay, I'm just gonna let it be today. I'm just gonna go back to my old habits of overthinking. That's not gonna serve you. You just have to do it, and you'll recover actually sooner than you think. And a lot of times in your journey, you'll feel like, I don't think I'm ever going to recover. In fact, you'll feel like this even towards the end, which is the funny part. But then when you start to recover, it's just like you don't even think about it anymore. You just don't. It's like, yeah, anxiety, yeah, it was really terrible. But sometimes I don't remember how bad it was. And I was telling my sister the other day that, dude, I just don't remember. Because she was telling me I'm feeling slightly anxious today. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're feeling anxious. I don't think I remember what it even feels like to be that anxious. And she's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't say anything, don't say anything. That's so good. But I just don't. And then when you start losing memory of how painful it was, that's when you know it's really behind you.
Yeah. And you will realize it really is nothing. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's experiences
Yeah.
because when you're in it, you're in it. And it's the worst thing ever.
Oof.
But then even looking back at myself and at the whole journey in my mind, like a couple times when I was just reminded we were talking about it, like with Sean or Kaylee or anyone else, looking back at myself, I'm like, You were just so dramatic. You could have been out of that in a couple of months. It's true though. It's
It's
true.
so true.
It took me in total around little over a year and a half, but only because I decided to be stubborn. Only because every time I decided to believe those, oh, poor you, you're the one that will never recover. See, you had a symptom again, and that means A, and that means B, and B means C, and before we know it, I'm dead on my back because that's the outcome. And it took me so long because every time I decided to just take the bait instead of
Yeah.
deciding to not take it repeatedly. And this is something people are getting bored of on group calls, and I see it on them and I know it. But I always say one thing: your subconscious mind, the habitual mind, the mind where the patterns are, the habits are, and even the protective mechanisms are, it learns by repetition. You can't expect knowing intellectually how it works, why it works like that, what needs to be done. And you can't expect your subconscious mind being immediately on board. It won't. It will take time, it will take repetition, and slowly you will get those clicks and realizations. And suddenly, one thing that scared you to death one day, you will wake up the next day and it no longer scares you. And it just happens on its own time. So the only
Yeah.
job you can do, your only active part on that is respond to whatever happens for however long it's happening. And if you just focus on that, then you're making sure you're making the least amount of mistakes. And when you're making the least amount of mistakes and you're not jumping and you're not eating it hook, line, and sinker, you're gonna recover quickly.
Exactly. Just take the pressure off of yourself. Just understand that recovery is going to come to you, and it seems like an impossible thing at first. Person A could probably see results in 3 months, person B probably in 6 months. It doesn't mean anything. You still will reach the end goal, which is full recovery. And it takes longer for some people just because they're still so stuck in their head. People are also designed differently, we're built differently. Some people are more practical, some people are more emotional, uh some people are just, when you tell them something they just believe it. Well, some people are very stubborn and they don't. So it depends on your personality, but eventually everyone gets there, because once you have these mentors drilling it in your head every single day, this is what you need to do, you will understand it. It's like learning a new language. When you were a baby and you were being taught ABCD, initially you felt like, oh my god, how will I remember these letters all the way till Z? But you just do now. You can even recite it backwards because you just have so much practice. It's like that. You feel like you will not be able to speak the language at first, but then you start writing, and you start writing books, and that's just how it is. It's like learning a new language. It's the language of your brain, because essentially all you're trying to do is correct your thinking. That's it. And it takes a while, because learning a language will take some time. Similarly, teaching your brain a new way of being will also take time. And you just have to accept that it's going to be a while till you start feeling better. And the faster you realize that and accept it, the faster you'll be able to make
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah. And notice one thing: everyone that recovered super fast, everyone that we had in the program, which those are people I could count maybe on two hands, because not everyone wants
Yeah.
to join the channel, not everyone wants to show their face, so not everyone is there. But I think the people that recover like super fast, and I mean full recovery very quickly,
Yeah.
I think two hands are enough to count them. But all of them, every single one of them, were those personalities of, I'm not going to question it, I'm just going to do it. It was always those not questioning, not doubting, just listening and applying,
Yeah.
always across the board. So that says
Got
something, right? And if your brain is a little bit more stubborn, well, then it's going to take longer. That's fine. But wasting your time or being pissy that your brain is stubborn is, again, it's just slowing you down. It's resistance. It's closing off your subconscious mind from absorbing anything new. Don't do that to yourself. It's okay. Work with what you have.
That's really your only option. That's your best bet. Acceptance. I think you always say this, right? Acceptance is your first line of defense. It's the only thing you can do. It's the only thing that's going to get you out. Just accept it. Let it be, and don't engage with thoughts that make you feel crap about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in like nowadays with the internet and all the fast content and brain rot. Like everyone is there to tell you why you should feel shitty about yourself. Everyone.
Right? And everyone's Marka, I feel like we're like the smartest people in the world when it comes to emotional and mental health, because everyone out there is just talking about, if you feel a negative thought, try to replace it with a positive thought. If you feel
No.
bad, go out for a run. What the hell are you talking about? That's not going to help you. Do you want to feel better in the moment, or do you just want to live a happy life forever? I mean, forever in the sense, or do you want like long term freedom? If you want to just feel better in the moment and you're like, I want to feel better in the moment, you're that kind of a junkie, then yes, do all of that stuff. But if you want to get out, you gotta feel the discomfort, you gotta let it be, you have to accept it. Just refocus on things that are more important. Going for a run, trying to feel better in the moment is just not going to help you. It's going to help you just for like that teeny little amount of time, but it's not
Exactly.
how
I
you get
just feel
out.
exactly. I just always felt like, oh, if you have negative thought, you have to replace it. If you feel bad, you have to
Yeah,
do this, you have to do
same.
this. That to me sounds like a lot of doing. I think sacrificing a little bit of time at developing the skill that if a thought comes that would make me feel bad and I don't even engage, therefore I don't even have time to start feeling bad. That sounds to me like a lot less work.
Right? And you know what, Maka? I actually understood this very early on in life, not just with anxiety, but I was really bullied in school, pretty terribly actually, and it took a massive hit on my self-esteem. Before that, I always thought like I'm really cute and pretty, and I was just a very happy person innately. But after all of the bullying happened, I started feeling really bad about myself. Now I used to look in the mirror and I would feel not good about myself. I would judge myself a lot, tell myself that, oh, I wish I could change this about myself, that about myself. And I would constantly engage with these negative thoughts till one day I was like, no, if I don't like the way I look, because I was bullied for it, if I don't like the way I look, I'm just going to hit the gym. Every time I get a negative thought, I'll just let it be and I'll try to be better. And I just started working out. And I became so confident and innately I started feeling good about myself. And then when somebody commented on the way I looked or anything like that, I would just be like, you're just insecure at this point. I cannot believe it. That's not true. I know who I am. And that only happened because I took action. I did what I had to do in order to feel better about myself, not by just sitting there and replacing a negative thought with a positive thought or looking in the mirror and saying, oh my God, I'm the most beautiful. I am perfect. None of that bullshit. Affirmations are very helpful, that's great, but you also have to work. You also have to get to work. You also have to do the difficult things in order to see results. And only when you do those things do you actually see results that stay with you. Because now I am so confident, no one can break that confidence. I literally feel like I've got it. I have the confidence to go out there, pursue my dream of wanting to be an actress because innately I feel like I can, and no one can take that away from me. It's because of all of these years of hard work that I've put in, whether it's going to the gym or just working on my mindset. I had done a lot of work on my body just by hitting the gym and lifting weights, and I started feeling great about the way I looked. But I would always kind of pray to God and say that I want to become very strong mentally because I did realize that I had some unproductive habits and I was a very volatile person, very irritable, and I was kind of like a little psychotic. I feel. I was a little crazy because I would fight and I would shout and I had anger issues. So I would really pray to God and tell God that I know innately I'm such a kind person, but I don't know what happens to me, and I just act like a complete asshole. And I think that is why I fell into the cycle and all of this shit happened because I can't recognize that person anymore. I'm just so much better. I'm more reliable, sweet, kind. Of course, I fight with people even now, that's normal, but I don't have that anger inside of me. I don't have that disdain for myself anymore. I love myself. And it's only because I put in the work. And not only do I not feel symptoms anymore, but I actually feel great, you know?
Yes,
Like, I love my life.
absolutely.
I just love it. I adore it and I'm grateful for it every day.
And this is exactly what I'm trying to do. And this is exactly what we're trying to teach people. So I am happy you were able to be here and share your experience again, Devyani. Always
Thank you
happy to
so
have
much.
you. Shan must always say Devyani is our celebrity.
He's too
he always
sweet.
says he always says that. He always says that. He's manifesting that for you. So
Aw, he is the real celebrity because all my friends, I'm not joking, everyone knows who Shan is. Every single one. They all think I secretly like him. I'm always talking about him. But again, I'm gonna say this again. The kind of work you guys do at Bye Bye Panic, there are no words for it because I don't think anyone else does it as good as you guys do. You guys are genuinely the best. And I always tell my friends, even people who aren't really in the cycle, I tell them just go check out Shan's videos. It's not just about anxiety recovery. If you guys think that Shan's videos are just anxiety recovery, you're mistaken, because there's actually a lot more that he offers. He's actually teaching you how to live your life in the most productive way. So everyone knows about him and his channel, and I think it's a great help to the world, to be very honest.
This is always so nice to hear. We are always like very, and I'm not a person that takes compliments very well. This is something I'm
I
still
know.
working on.
I
So
know,
when
that's
someone
fine.
compliments me, I'm always like, leave me alone, please. But yeah, this is always very, very nice to hear. I may not show it. It's the European nature in me. I may not show it,
I
but
know.
it's always very nice thing to hear. So that's amazing. So Devyani, is there any like last words, last sentence that you would like to say to people that are watching that we can like kind of finish this off with?
There's one thing that Shiv always says, and he always says this, and I always think of it, especially when I was going through that setback and I was, passing out. That had never really happened to me, even when I first fell in 2018 or 22. I never genuinely passed. Actually, I did once, but I was passing out very frequently after the setback. And I remember this one day very clearly. I went to the washroom to wash my face, and I felt that surge, and it was so intense that I fainted for a bit. And that was a common occurrence. It used to happen a lot. And I just got up and I said, well, whatever. I tried to respond to my best ability, and I went to my room and I was like brushing my hair, and I saw my arm and I saw like a massive bruise over here. So when I saw that, and I'm sorry, this is slightly emotional, but I really want to say this. When I saw that bruise, I just broke down because I couldn't believe what this thing was doing to me. And I knew the things that I had to do in order to get better. But I just saw myself getting so much worse. And in that moment, I just remembered Shiv saying, faith in the future gives you power in the present. And I just kept repeating it. Faith in the future gives you power in the present. Faith in the future gives you power in the present. It doesn't matter how you feel right now. You will recover. You have to recover. All you need to do is apply whatever the mentors are asking you to do, which is acceptance. That's it. It's going to take time. Your journey is not going to be free of its share of ups and downs, but you will recover. This is not your forever. Just have faith in the future. That is enough to keep you going along with the right response.
One thing that is fact is that whenever you go, because someone asked me on a group call recently, hey, do you sometimes just go on Reddit and read like the anxiety topics, and do you see like the way people are talking about it? I'm like, not once since I recovered, never. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna check today. The things you read, you see, the desperation,
Oh,
the desperation, the putting each other's down instead of lifting them up, the telling them, oh no, this is gonna get worse and this is gonna get worse, and that's what I had, and then it got worse.
yeah,
I'm like, we've built community that you can't find anywhere else, nowhere else, because you won't find that like the hopelessness and helplessness there. You
never.
won't. So it's like that was for me like when I saw, because I didn't check for years. It didn't even occur to me. And so when I went and I did, I'm like, this is terrible. This is
Yeah. It
crazy. Yeah.
truly it is. With people tearing each other down and making each other feel even worse. Even doctors do that. I'm sorry. I think the medical community, of course, they do a great job at helping people. But when it comes to the mind, I don't know, man. Most of them just scared me away. They said, yeah, you probably have to live with this kind of forever, get on SSRIs. What happened to you in your childhood? And I said, nothing. So finding this community was really, I would say this is the greatest blessing of my life. This is the greatest, this is another life for me, because before this, I just wasn't living. I was simply just existing. So this
Hmm.
community, the way you guys, just the way you operate, and it's constant, right? Anytime you need help, you post a question, you will get a reply within a few hours, or if not minutes. It's just incredible, the support. There's nothing like this. There is absolutely nothing like this. And Rose always tells me this, who's a part of the community. She was telling me this, and it really resonated with me, that the community is as important as the response. If the response is 50%, the community is 50%, which is true. You can respond, and yes, you will recover even with just responding. But the community is that added bonus. It is that speed factor that you need in your journey. It is what gets you to recover faster. The people and the things that they have to tell you, and looking at people in different stages in their journey, people who are way ahead of you, people who have just come in, so you help the people who have just come in, and you learn from the people who are way ahead of you, and then you see people recover all the time and leave, and just the kind of confidence that brings you, the kind of hope you feel, that is extremely valuable, and you can't discount that. So the community aspect of it, I would say, is extremely crucial, which you guys do so well.
I'm happy you're saying that, because like you are at that other end, right? I see it from our
Yeah.
side, but what is important is the experience from your side. So thank you so much for saying that. And I guess we went through all the topics we could have. I
Yes.
hope this wasn't too rambly, and I hope you guys on the channel are gonna enjoy this one. I know I did. So thank you so much, Devyani, for
Thank
rejoining the
you.
channel once again.
And
And
the
I
and the
don't wish.
community. Thank you for letting me in.
Oh, of course. And I don't wish another setback on you. Not at all. I hope you're going to stay recovered forever. But whenever you feel like you want to come back in and just update us of how your life is going and everything you're learning, and kind of like opening up your eyes to, you're always welcome here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's it, guys. And I'm not Sean, but you know how it goes. Like press the follow, the bell icon, whatever there is, whatever YouTubers say. I'm not Sean, but hey, for anything about anxiety, this is the channel you want to watch and you want to follow. See ya.
Bye.